Why were you on WrestleMania 3, and did you try to get on the show at all?
It wasn't up to me.
It was the office.
The office decides, okay, you were in 2, here's a new card, WrestleMania 3. And by that time, it was just, I wasn't, like I say, the Kamala stretcher jobs?
Right.
I was kind of in a higher up whipping boy spot. All right, you can beat him, so we got to beat him because I wasn't fighting Nikolai or Sheik in that type match. I was still doing the military thing. And I don't think there just wasn't a spot that they wanted to put me in at that time, for WrestleMania 3.
Okay. Why do you think you weren't pushed as much after the Sheik and Volkov feud?
It's the military thing.
Right.
Okay, that was natural heat. We'd done it for 2 years. Kirchner's going to fight with George or Tito or whoever with that. And it went kind of stagnant for a while right there. It wasn't up to me to make the match. It's up to the office. What I want and what they want, I can't,
right.
2 different things. Hey, I think this would work good. Well, this is what we want you to do.
I think you also worked Honky, down in Florida in '87. You subbed for Jake. How did that come about?
You told me, hey, you're in there with the Honky Tonk
Easy
Man.
match?
Yeah, Honky wasn't going to dazzle you with his wrestling moves. He was more working on the gimmick thing too. And it's a weird story because Ricky Steamboat at that time was the Intercontinental Champion, and things weren't working good for him. So one of the few times he ever did a job on TV was for the Honky Tonk Man for the title.
Right.
So there was some friction in the office. We had a problem with him then, and Vince's idea was, I have the best talent in the world. Egos are starting to get here and here. Guys, I want this, and Vince let you know that he was in charge. So he said, well, guess who's going to be our new Intercontinental Champ? Not the most talented. Honky held the title for 5 years, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. So that puts him, who's he going to beat? He's going to beat everybody, which I did Saturday Night Main Event, and I think his Shake, Rattle, and Roll or something.
Yeah.
Did the job for him, but they tell you, what are you going to say? No, I'm not doing a job. I can outwork this guy. And it wasn't like that. WWF stands for the Wide World of Fantasies.
What about Harley Race? Memories of working with Harley?
Wonderful. I have a great Harley Race story. You're asking, about tension like WrestleMania. I just gotten started. Not started, but, I've been working for a while. But Harley Race 11, or a legend, 7-time real world champion. A great professional, good guy outside the ring and in the ring. And we were cutting interviews, and I had to work with Harley. And where we working? Kemper Arena. That's Harley's Kingdom. That's the Madison Square Garden for Harley Race,
right.
Out there in Kansas City. And I'm like, oh, hell. So Hogan's on top. We're semi-main. And I'm used to being, big baby face, of course, the flag and stuff. I went to Kemper Arena, and it was like a mixed reaction. Like, it's throwing me off. Harley came out, and the place went, I thought Hogan came out because that's a house that Harley built. And he gets in the ring, and I'm in there, so I start off, a little bit hard, tight on that lock off. And he said, kid, take it easy, kid. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I said, okay. And we went 23 minutes that night, and he made me look like $1 million in his house.
Awesome.
Everything, did this, do this, all right, I did my stuff, and he told me that. I remember the finishing move, we used a good wrestler, the fisherman suplex. And, 1, 2, 3 in the middle. Back then, you couldn't shake hands after a match, say, like in Japan. I just want to get up and shake his hand. Thank you for giving me a match like that. But that's one of my fondest memories, I say, of matches, was working Harley that night in Kemper Arena.
Especially in his backyard.
Right.
What about Rick Rude? You also got to work with Rick?
Very good guy. Nice guy in and out of the ring. Very professional in the ring. Looked very light. In touch, working style. Like to put on a good match. Was exciting. He brought the best out in you. He wasn't... worried about him. He was, he wasn't worried about getting over. He wanted to have a good match and do the best that you could with working with you.
Right.
What can you do? I can do this. Great. We're gonna have a great night tonight, and we do it.
How approachable was Vince back at this time period? If you ever had a problem, I mean, did you have to go through different people to get to Vince, or were you able to pretty much go up to Vince?
Back then, it was pretty open door policy. Vinny was around sometimes. You'd ask to talk to him. He'd either brush you off, or he'd give you a minute, or he'd say, "Come by the office and see me." If you didn't have time for you, you got the brush over. Vince, I'd like to talk to you. Vince, I'd like to talk. If he wouldn't talk to you after a while, you knew something wasn't right.
Right. How bad was the drug scene around this time period?
How much time we got?
The late 80s.
It was rampant.
Right.
Literally rampant. By that time, the time we're talking about how approachable was and doing like this, everybody was either sauced up. Cocaine was running rampant through there because we were running so hard.
What?
We partied every night, including myself. We took coke to keep us going, took sleeping pills to slow us down, took steroids to keep us big, alcohol that we had the candles lit at both ends, and everybody was running hard. So it was tolerated for a while, and then it started to become a problem because everybody was,
right.
Then they started to do drug testing, and we wouldn't know when that would happen. We were up in Canada one night, and 6 of us got told, "You're out the card." Why? "Well, we'll call you at home. You're suspended for 6 weeks. Drug tests." And then it was like kind of a reality check. They were going, pretty hard on it. And you get into the thing where you're used to doing that, and you're just go. You don't make the right decisions when you're like that. It's okay, like say doing a blade job. You ask me to sit there and cut my face up with a razor, and then you're gonna get on my ass for partying at night or with something to keep me going. Neither one of them is right. One's the lesser of the two evils? I mean, you can't justify really either one of them, but it was like part of the business. It's like working in a bar and not drinking. It's like, yeah, I drink, I work in a bar.
Right.
And that type of mentality, you're just so used to going that drugs were like, you take vitamins, you take steroids, you had to be bigger than life. So when he said, no more of this, it's like, what do you mean no more of this? So there was a lot of...
Do you think you were singled out, looking back?
I wouldn't say I was a victim. I always believe to this day, take credit for your own work. Did I flunk a piss test? Yeah. Did I get suspended for, that 6 weeks? Yeah. I didn't lose my job. I was scheduled to go back to work after that. The time came where I was supposed to go back to work that day, and I called them and just told them that I won't be coming back.